YouTube, it's Maddie the Emptiness Scrapper. Welcome to my channel. I'm so glad you stopped by. If it's your first time, I hope you enjoy the content. And if you're returning, I'm always super glad you came back. So today I am talking about my ridiculous collection of inks and how I've talked myself into owning this many colors. Now, you see a variety of brands here, but you do not see the full volume. I couldn't fit that here. However, I don't have full sets in all of my collections, so I am giving myself a little pat on the back for that, but I do have too many inks. So I'm going to go through what I have, why I purchased it, what I'm thinking of purging, and I'm asking you, do you do the same thing? And do you have advice for me? I need help. Please help me. So I'm going to go through my inks line by line, why I purchased them in the beginning, if I think I am considering purging them, or if I know I'm going to keep them. Most of them I am going to keep because I've talked myself into why I need them. So bear with me. I'm going to go through them, and please comment below if you have advice for me. Tell me a little bit about your ink story. I want to know I'm not alone. Please, please. If you have an ink problem, or if you have a strategy to cut down on your inks, please share that in the comments below. Okay, here we go. In order of when I purchased them, these little Memento dewdrops are the very first inks that I ever purchased. At the time, I did not know of any other minis. Lindsay the Frugal Crafter, one of my favorite YouTubers, recommended these inks. They are dye-based inks, and that's what I started with in 2007. So I purchased these because I had zero inks. That's a very good reason. They were minis, so I was able to get a variety of colors with minimal cost to see if I liked inking, if I liked stamping rather. And at the time, it was a good purchase. However, I rarely, if ever, reach for these inks anymore. I have found other inks that I like better. I have been crafting since 2007, so that's not all that unusual. But my question is, do I keep these inks? They don't take up a whole lot of space. I bought 3 packages of 12, which is the entire full set of these particular inks. But they're not a huge storage problem, yet I don't feel like I should be holding them. I have an emotional attachment to them because they were my first. Let me know what you would do. Next, in order of when I purchased them, color box. So I have about 4 of these little color box rainbow sets. That's not what they're called, but you can see why I am calling them that. I only have 4, so they don't take up a whole bunch of space. I've only used them a handful of times, and if you're a crafter, you know that color box is no longer available. So I am sort of thinking I don't really need to hold on to these because I don't actually use them. However, I can't get them anymore. And if I want to use them, I won't be able to if I let them go. So this is another early purchase. I think I bought it, at the same time or very early on in my crafting life. But I rarely reach for them. I'm considering letting them go. Let me know what you would do. Okay, now for my favorites. These are not the full collection of any one of these lines that I have, but there's no room for that on this little screen. So the next line I purchased is my absolute favorite ink for blending. I love ink blending. I get some stress relief from ink blending, and these Distress Oxide inks are the easiest inks, at least for me, to blend. I love them. I am not considering letting go of them. I do not have the full collection. And what makes that easy for me? Tim Holtz keeps coming out with new colors. Some of them I love and buy, and some of them I just don't have any need for that I can think of. So these are staying. That's what I use them for. I have about 25 or 30 of them. This is what I use to blend the colors. These are makeup brushes from Amazon, and I store them on a Dollar Tree holder, and I've attached a Lazy Susan at the bottom. Okay, next in order of when I purchased them, these. Now I have more of these. This is not the full collection, but because they are minis, they don't take up a lot of space. I like having different choices, and these Archival inks are waterproof. I don't have another ink in my collection that is waterproof, and I like art journaling. So these particular inks, because they are waterproof and they are minis and don't take up a lot of space, these are staying in my collection because from time to time I do like to stamp in my art journal and not necessarily in black. So these are staying. Next up, my next love is my collection of mini Catherine Pooler inks. So these are the absolute best inks that I have found for solid stamping. They are minis, but they are sort of chunkier minis. So most minis that have come out are usually a little 1x1 square. These guys, I believe, are 2 inches or perhaps even a little bit larger. Let's see if we can grab a ruler and see. So, looks like 2.5 inches, which gives me a lot more versatility and ease of use. So they are less expensive to collect because they're minis. I buy them in sets. I think that is most of the only way you can get Catherine Pooler minis. I don't know, except for the neutrals, if they are sold individually. I have a number of sets, but I will not be collecting all of them. I think I have 6 sets. She keeps coming out with more, and I think I am satisfied with the 6 for the amount of solid stamping I do. I also love the direct to paper use of these. If you are not familiar with that, you swipe the color on your edge of your panel, and you can use it as a layering. It looks like you've got the solid color across, but you put your ink panel on top of it, and then you can stamp and it matches exactly. And so I really love that option, and I am keeping these. Last but not least, these are my pigment inks. So for most of the inks, I'm not sure if I mentioned or not, these are dye inks, dye inks, dye inks. These are dye inks. This one is a pigment ink. And my collection of VersaFine Clair are pigment inks as well. Pigment inks stay wet longer than dye inks, which means you have to be careful when you're stamping with them, because no matter, it seems forever how long you let them dry, they're not dry. You're going to smudge them. But for me, these pigment inks are very useful because I use them to emboss. So rather than having different colors of embossing powder, I have different colors of pigment ink that I can put clear embossing powder over and emboss in any color that VersaFine Clair makes. Also, prior to buying the colors, I had the black ink, which I use exclusively for stamping my sentiments. I do love to emboss my sentiments as well, so it's a win-win. After using the pigment ink for my sentiments for a number of years, I decided to invest in the colors. I have about 3/4 of the full set. There are 24 colors. I might take a look at the rest and see if I want to add, but I love these inks and I'm keeping them. So, first thing I want to know, this is sort of what I'm keeping. Do you have as many lines of ink as I do? Do you make up reasons or talk yourself into why you have to have them? I mean, I am sort of proud that I don't have the full sets of any of these. And I can pretty much do whatever I want to do. If I find myself looking for a color in one of these lines that I don't have, yes, I will buy them. But if I don't, I can just have the selection of inks that I love and move on with my crafting. So one of my other questions for you is, do you have as many lines of inks as I do? Do you need to have the full set? Are you happy with the selection? Are you thinking of purging your inks? And what is holding you back? These inks, I am sentimentally attached to them. That is probably one of the worst reasons to hold on to something. Also, I keep telling myself, they don't take up much room. What's the big deal? However, should I be holding things that I'm not using? So I can donate them. I can give them to a crafty friend. I can try to sell them, although that's not usually my thing. This one as well takes up even less room, and I use it just as infrequently. Should I be keeping them? Is a sentimental attachment, even though it, Marie Kondo, sparks joy because it reminds me of happy times. Is that a reason to hold on to things in your craft room, in my craft room? So please leave me a comment below and help me decide. help me see if the rationalizations or the reasons I have, even all of these, which I've decided I need them, should I reconsider? Certainly, I'm not going to reconsider these. I don't think I'll reconsider any of these, honestly. But let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the video. And above all, everybody, as always, stay safe. Bye-bye, YouTube.